This is how to get started with exercise 1.4 from the QGIS map design book. This is going to be how to make a bivariate choropleth map. So we're going to map on two different variables, both of which come from this 1 to 110 million countries layer. And because we're going to map it twice to show two different variables, I'm going to bring it in here twice. So I'm going to have two different layers, and they're the same layer, but I'll put it in twice, and that's because I'm going to map on two different attributes. I'm going to change the names here so I don't get confused. If I double click and go under source, I can type in economy for one of those, and income for the other. Say okay. So I'm going to start with the economy layer here. I'm going to double click on it, and instead of staying under source, I'm now going to go under symbology. And instead of using a simple symbol, applying orange to all the countries, I'm going to use a graduated symbol. And this graduated symbol is once again going to have an expression associated with it. The reason we need an expression in this case is because the economy variable is not a numeric variable, and we want to convert it to that. So I'm going to go under the expression, and I'm going to type in the expression provided in the book, which is toInt, to convert it to an integer. And that comes right up. And then after toInt, I want to put in that. I want to take the left, which also comes up, put in another one. I want to use the field from the attribute table, economy. And we can see it has ABC before it because it's not a numeric variable. Double click there, put comma and 1, and then close it off again. We have a valid expression, and I'm going to say okay. And please remember to change this from 5 to 3, with that being the default. And I'll put this in, I'll leave that in as different red colors for now and say okay. So now we can see this is on top, and we're seeing where the better and worse economies are in the world. We also want to do the same with income. So I'm going to double click on income. I'm going to once again change it to a graduated color, and I'm going to put in a similar expression. Except this time using income GRP. And once again, we have a valid expression. Say okay. I'm going to also reduce this to 3, but this time I'm going to use just a different color. When you're doing this, you're actually going to set each of these colors given parameters in the book. And say okay. Now if I turn this one off, I get a different but similar pattern for where there's more income. So the last thing you're going to do with this, and there's different ways of doing it, but this is one, you're going to blend these two. And the way that you're going to do this is you're going to double click on economy, and then you're going to go under layer rendering and go under layers, and you're going to choose multiply. And that's going to combine the two layers that you have in this fashion. I'll apply that, and I'll say okay. And now we can see that we have a much different looking map because it's blending the reds and the blues together based on these two different values here. A couple other things you want to do for this map is you want to change the map projection. If you go under project and then properties, you can go to the coordinate reference system. If you don't know any world projections, you could type in world, or Robinson is one example. The world Robinson projection, I can say okay, and now it's in a nicer projection. This is also where you can change the background color as they indicate in the directions, and there, that's just under the general settings. You can make the background black or gray, or any other color that you want to.